Have you ever wondered what the least played class in Guild Wars 2 is? I know some of you are probably thinking off the top of your head, it's gotta be Engineer. And I know Engineer is kind of a complicated class, right? You have to build turrets, dispensers, Okay, well, the wrong game is being shown in the background, but for Guild Wars 2, yeah, Engineer is kind of a complicated class, but it's actually not the least played class in the game. But to be honest with you guys, I can't answer the question of what is the least played class. Why? Well, there's no classes in Guild Wars 2.
Serious?
That's right, in this MMORPG, they don't call them classes, they call them professions. I know one of you were probably in the comment section down below trying to correct me. I beat you to it. So let's reword the question. What is the least played profession within Guild Wars 2? And why on earth am I asking this question in 2025?
I don't know.
Let's go ahead and rewind the clock a little bit. The reason why I started to research what the least played profession in the game is was all because of my recent trip to Switzerland.
What?
I know, stay with me a second. I know you're thinking Switzerland has nothing to do with Guild Wars 2, but hold on, let me explain. Earlier this year, I proposed to my girlfriend, and now we're engaged. Fast forward to recently, we decided to do an engagement photo session all the way out in Switzerland, and the theme that we decided on was fantasy core. That means that we were gonna, dress up in fantasy outfits. I was gonna be that knight searching for the princess. We would have really cool photos together. Like, it'd be a really cool thing to have for our engagement session. Believe it or not, I actually bought real life knight armor to wear in real life. And so the nerd that I am, I thought to myself, well, is it possible for me to recreate how I looked like in this engagement photo session in Guild Wars 2? I mean, the game itself has so much character customization, it'd be pretty cool if I could look like my knight. So of course I logged into the game and I realized my main character is a thief.
Bruh.
Whatever profession you pick, it depends on what armor you're gonna wear for the rest of the game. And I thought to myself, well, actually I could rename my character to a different name, and I could transfer the moopliss name onto an entirely different character, meaning I could re-roll and pick a brand new main in the game. So I was tinkering around with the wardrobe system and I figured, okay, heavy armor just looks way cooler than medium armor. And I decided, I think it's time for me to switch mains. I'm not this young teenager who made their thief back in the day. I'm almost 30 years old, which I'll turn that next year, so I'm not Unk status yet. But I figured it's time for a new era for moopliss, specifically in Guild Wars 2. And I figured, okay, I have three options: Warrior, Guardian, and Revenant. And I know everyone and their grandma plays the Guardian. So I figured, okay, it's either Warrior or Revenant. What's the least played? Maybe I'll pick the one that's the least played. And that's when I realized that the Revenant profession is the least played profession within the entire game. In this video, I'm gonna talk to you guys about why the Revenant is the least played profession in Guild Wars 2 and how I ended up changing my main character from a thief. Goodbye Thief. I've renamed him into Underworld Veteran, which matches his title, so I think it's a good send-off. And now my main character is now a Revenant. So let's dive into why it's the least played profession. Let's take a closer look at the Revenant. So since I recently changed my main within the video game, I'm gonna have to relearn all my crafting disciplines. I'm gonna have to learn from a ground up how a brand new profession in the game works, and I gotta make sure I'm in the right mindset. That's where today's sponsor, the book, The Ultimate Guide to Rebuilding Civilization, comes to play. See, this book is not your average book that you find at a library. This book in itself will teach you how to begin everything if civilization collapsed tomorrow, which is pretty cool because me as a gamer, I'm thinking, okay, how did games actually get developed back then? You have this whole section talking about chess. It has amazing artwork on all the different pages. And maybe games aren't something you're interested in. You can dive into things like electricity, the human concept, cooking, clothing. Like, there's definitely a topic that you're interested in within this book. If you're looking on saving a little bit of money on purchasing the book for the holiday season, you can use my code right here or click on the link in the description down below. Thank you very much to Hungry Minds Art for sending me over the book and sponsoring this video. So let's go ahead and think about the Revenant. What is a Revenant. See, back when Guild Wars 2 launched in 2012, there was actually only 8 different professions. I know that's kind of crazy because now we have 9 professions and everyone's used to it. But back then in 2012, there were only 8 professions. But if you fast forward 3 years later, in 2015, Heart of Thorns came out, the very first expansion for Guild Wars 2, and that brought the 9th profession, the Revenant. The very first character to become a Revenant was Rytlock Brimstone. In a nutshell, Rytlock wanted to cleanse Ascalon and get rid of the curse there, so he brought his flame sword, stabs it into the ground, and he realizes, okay, my flame sword's gonna disappear into the mist. This guy jumps into the mist, and well, Rytlock goes missing. We don't know where that guy went. And then randomly he just jumps out of the mist portal within Heart of Thorns, and the dude has new drip. He's no longer a warrior profession. He is now re-rolled into the brand new profession, the Revenant. A Revenant is a profession that channels other characters in Guild Wars, and that's what gives them their unique utility skills. So for instance, if I want to be a quick kind of assassin DPS type style of play, I would channel the Shiro Legend. It's just a really cool dynamic for a class because you're actually involving other characters that will interact with your character while you're just sitting around. And that makes it really cool when new elite specs come out. Everyone's thinking, okay, well, what's the new character that the Revenants have to channel in order to get their abilities? Now, of course, everything I just said is really cool, but what if I told you you're only limited to 2 legends? If you do a bunch of conditions, like there's a character that will give you those skills. If you need healing, we got you. And the legends or characters that you can invoke with the Revenant makes it really interesting because nobody really has the same 2 legends. I mean, unless you're picking a build from Meta Battle or Snow Crows, then yeah, okay, you maybe have the same 2 legends, but it's totally up to you as to what characters you want to choose for your Revenant. Now, why on earth did I really get cemented with picking Revenant as a new main? I mean, giving up my Thief that I've mained since 2012, like, yeah, that's kind of a big deal for me to give up. But I did look at 2 different things. One, I get to wield a greatsword. I was missing out on wielding Twilight for such a long time, and now your boy is a Revenant, and he's got a giant looking cool greatsword. And the second reason as to why I wanted to pick Revenant, greatsword skill 4? Oh, the sound of it? I mean, come on. Chef's kiss to the sound team at ArenaNet for coming up with a really cool sound for skill 4. It's a block ability on a greatsword, and man, it is just so cool to use in the heat of battle, because you know if enemies hit you when the skill's going off, you are about to ruin their day when you hit them back with that skill 4. You can block attacks, absorb it all, and then whack them back, and that's just, it's a very good feeling. So greatsword is one of my 2 weapons that I get to wield within combat, but my second weapon, I decided, okay, well, what if I have a ranged weapon? You know, I'm thinking things like a short bow, or maybe, you know, I don't know, scepter, a hammer. Yeah, believe it or not, if you pick a hammer on a Revenant, it's a ranged weapon. Everyone else with a hammer, they have to walk up to their enemies and smash them, typically what you do with a hammer. But the Revenant, he whips hammers at people from 1,200 range. It's so cool. And one of the best skills with hammer is skill 5. And this is pretty cool because you actually take like a hammer from the mist that like slams down on everyone and it actually like stuns them all. And I saw the skill and I was like, wait a second, can I get that specific weapon that is in the skill 5? Can I wield that? You can. Back in the beta days for Heart of Thorns, they were testing out the Revenant profession and they invited a bunch of players to try it out. During that demo period, they did give out a set of weapons for everyone to utilize, and they had this kind of Revenant looking style. Like the axe looked like it was kind of a Revenant weapon. They also had a mace, and then they had that hammer that appeared in the skill. And then Heart of Thorns came out, and I think ArenaNet just kind of forgot about it. Like they just weren't in the game files whatsoever. And then they did add them later on. You have to find like a mist stranger that kind of walks around. Like we don't really know what race this character is. He's got like purple Thanos skin, but it's just really cool to have like a whole quest line behind getting this specific weapon. And boy, it's a pretty cool way to get an ascended weapon if you have the crafting abilities to do so. So I have my 2 weapons picked out, greatsword and hammer. Now comes the most important part. What is my stat type going to be for all my gear? And I looked at it and I was like, well, I kind of want a stat type that is universal to both PvE, world versus world, and PvP. So I looked at what stat types are available in PvP and I saw Demolisher. So I told myself, all right, I'm going to go after Demolisher gear. And boy, this gear is kind of ridiculous to get. It's a fairly new stat type that has been implemented into the game, and like trying to get it in PvE is almost really hard to do. You can get stat selectable gear within world versus world. You can try and get stat selectable gear from doing raids, which I really haven't done many raids myself. If you guys want to see a video of me actually trying raids in Guild Wars 2, let me know down below. But eventually, I was able to get a full set of all ascended Demolisher gear. Now it's time for your boy to roam around in world versus world and see how it hits. And boy, I completely melt people. No more winky dinky thief skills that barely do any damage. Like every single skill I do with my greatsword, it is just evaporating people back to the lobby. I also have a fair bit of defensive abilities, right? I have the hammer that can reflect projectiles, which just it's a pretty cool thing to have. Not gonna lie, I can even run around with this like force field around me. I feel like a droideka from Star Wars when I use that skill. The legend swapping, that is something that is a bit difficult. It's kind of hard to learn. And I think the legend swapping / energy usage for the Revenant is the key reason as to why people don't want to play the profession. The first reason being, well, a lot of people already have their main characters they made from 2012 or so. You only get access to the Revenant if you purchase one of the earlier expansions of the game. So a lot of people, they try out Guild Wars 2 for free. They don't have access to the Revenant profession, so they end up sticking with the Mesmer, the Hunter, the Warrior, whatever first character they end up making. But in Guild Wars, it's actually really more enjoyable if you actually step outside your comfort zone and try new professions. That's the only reason why I have like a million different NPC replicas who are a bunch of different classes within the game. But of course, it is important to figure out what your main profession is. What is that main character that you like to play? It makes it easier for world exploration to get 100% map completion for the whole base Tyria. And of course, you can deck out that one character to maybe look like you know, have dreadlocks. We will have a fashion competition eventually once the new expansion Visions of Eternity comes out. So if you want to be part of those fashion shows, then feel free to stop by my Twitch channel. But I do want to resurface the topic of switching mains in the game. It's a big deal. You have your main character you relog into, you put most of the hours into it. Maybe you get bored of playing the game because you're always playing that specific profession. The reason why I'm having so much fun with Guild Wars at the moment is all my different skills that I get to utilize. Like I rarely touch the Revenant at all. I mean, I do have like an NPC replica of Rytlock, but I barely played him at all. I didn't really know the whole mechanics of that profession until I deep dived into it and said, you know what? He looks cool. I want to utilize this profession. I want to be wearing big, beefy, heavy armor within the game. Let's go for it. And I'm having such a fun time with it. I can re-explore all the Living World seasons and do all those achievements. I can redo all of the base map completion for Central Tyria. Like, I'm just super thrilled to be given Revenant a shot. I just feel like it is underrepresented within the game. So yes, changing your main in the video game, I recommend it. Obviously, though, you might not be comfortable with it, so don't delete your old character. But if you want to transfer your name over, here's how you do it. You simply take a name change contract, you go to your old main and change that name to whatever it is. I ended up naming my old thief character. He's now Underworld Veteran. He has the matching title, which is pretty cool. And that name is reserved for you to re-roll on another character for 24 hours. I did get confirmation from Guild Wars 2's support that this is how it does work. And of course, then you can have that name on a brand new character. I'm having a lot of fun with Guild Wars 2 right now. The new expansion, Visions of Eternity, is coming out towards the end of October. Your boy will be playing it, and I'm looking forward to jumping into the game with you guys. I do have a guild in game if you want to join. You want to look like my character and have a really cool heart emblem, Pals for Life, is within Guild Wars 2. And let me know in the comment section down below if you guys actually changed mains within the video game. What profession do you main within Guild Wars 2? Special shout out to my Patreon and YouTube members for supporting my content. Thank you guys very much. If you want to see your MMORPG character on screen, consider supporting my content. Thanks very much for watching the video, and as always...